interesting, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's why I chose those ones. And can you see this?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So these were like characters from Turtles, excuse me. It was like the Mayhem character. He didn't give much airtime, which is unfortunate, but like I just wanted to show like all the different like variations and stuff. And like
we're still seeing the same one,
Oh,
Alexis.
we're still seeing the same. Yeah.
So you're not okay. Sorry. I don't know how to do this. Oh my god, I feel like an old head. Oh, there we go. Okay. You can see it? Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, these are the characters from Turtles that like I did like very, very like early on, maybe in like a month before I started the job. I just wanted to show these because I love doing like the variation stuff. I don't get to do this too much in like TV work because it's like work, like turn this turn in real quick. So I wanted to show like
oh my god,
variation.
He's so cute.
Like, oh my god.
Thanks. Jesus.
I'm so sad most of these didn't get picked. Like the final version's
really?
Fine, but like I just want to because it's like it's a great way to get like loose with it. Like some of these you can't like I guess you can animate it, but like it's gonna take forever. It's not like good for like TV production, but like I don't know. I thought they were fun.
Right. Yeah, these are great. I love these.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then lastly, wait, I think I know how to do this. Okay, lastly, on this same page, I like to do more. Recently, I've been doing more like illustration stuff. That's why don't go on my Instagram if you're looking for art. So just don't go on there.
But you go on your Instagram if you're looking for selfies.
Yes, if you're looking for fashion and stuff and like, I don't know, ways to put together an outfit, do that then. But I just, when you're drawing like 40 hours a week, you don't want to draw it. At least for me, I feel burnt out. So like when I do want to draw and I want to do something like that's combined with like my love for fashion and like my love for like lines and art and stuff, I'll do something like this, like get my brush pen and then just kind of like splash something on. And
that's rad.
That's awesome.
Something more shape-wise.
Awesome. I love this.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Yeah, that's it. That's all I have to show.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Alexis. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's awesome. And then thank you, Alexis. That was rad. I love the combination of just professional work and like personal work.
I wish I could show more professional stuff, but like that contract that's like no, I don't want to get sued over some art. So just imagine it in your head.
Imagine gloriousness. But Chris, do you want to go next on the
yeah, sure.
art show? Thank you, man.
Yeah, it's hard to like find stuff that's like I guess like not in the website I already have.
No.
Right, it feels like it's repetitive. It's like
but
I've already seen it.
I try and find like a balance of things that you've seen and.
I mean, I got my Chris Sasaki portfolio loaded up. If
no, it's okay. Let's see here. All right. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. Oh man, come
so this
on.
is like a personal project I was like working on. It's like kind of like a mystery, like in like the Great Depression, Dust Bowl era stuff. But it was like a lineup I was like doing for it.
Man, I love it so much.
Thanks. And then let's see. I tried to like find stuff that's more of like under the hood character design stuff, or I think a lot of times we see like a lot of like finished things and people don't get to see like the kind of drawing and thoughts that's done,
love it.
behind the designs. And so I think this is some of the stuff that I did on Sanjay's Super Team when we're trying to figure out like the choreography, for the designs and the show. And so this is like my studies on like trying to incorporate like some of the Kalari martial arts, like this Indian like martial arts. Oh
my god! This is the initial research that you do, Chris?
Yeah. Typically, well, every project's different, but yeah, I would start with research. But like this one in particular, I knew nothing. I didn't know a lot about this culture, and so we were trying to do something different with, when these characters are portrayed, these deities are portrayed on screen, and we didn't want to do the typical like Marvel superhero moves, and so we tried to do something with more of an Eastern flavor, and so. This is me like kind of like digesting information and then eventually trying to like do a little bit of refinement, but like it's just just to kind of show some more of the under the hood stuff. I think it's important, you know, to show the drawing. And then yeah, some of like the more finished pieces, I guess, for that.
Oh, these are really cool.
And then let's see.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah,
go back to the.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So this is like, Durga. We had some like challenges with this one because I think most times we see these sculptures, they have like lots of like physical hands and stuff, and so couldn't do that. And so we tried to find some ways of like making things feel magical, you know, and using like the trails versus like actual physical seeing like lots of those hands.
Right. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
No, it's cool.
I needed to just kind of geek out about that a little bit.
Yeah, it was fun to draw on the show. And then some of my work from Inside Out, like Bing Bong. Some of these are like some more like the earlier ones, and then we started narrowing on like the final design. And then let's see. This is like, I think this was one of the last projects I worked on at Pixar, Onward, and I got to work with Jesse and Maria as well, which was really cool. But here's some like early like Ian and Barley designs. And then let's see, and then some sketchbook stuff.
I love it.
That's Willie. I think it's important, for character designers to draw, you know, and like Willie and I, we would do this thing where we do like drawing dates, where we go to like outside and draw. And this one particularly went to like a library.
Willie's here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what up, Will?
What up, Willie? Yeah.
So Will.
Yeah. And so this is like something that we drew. Like we would go to the library and look at books, and then we would draw from them and draw each other and stuff. So, yep. That's what I brought to the panel. Yeah, it's hard to choose.
Get out of here. Get out. Leave now.
Okay. See you guys.
Bye. That's awesome. Jesse, Aclin, what up, man? How's it going?
No, I'm good. Wow, that's a tough act to follow.
Hey, man.
Chris has always been one of my favorites to this day. Let's see. Okay, share screen. I'm one of those boomers who speak. Wait, no, I'm not. But I'm old and technology is hard.
Jesse is 75 years old.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so the high def camera.
He looks young. Yo, yeah.
Yeah.
So of course, if you know me, you know I like drawing Gollum.
I love it.
This is just stuff I do for fun.
Yeah, man.
I love drawing and like creating weird characters with like weird personality. I'm not that I created Gollum, obviously, it exists character. But just having fun with it. It's like I love like meaty characters, like characters with like flaws and quirks and things, and like Lord of the Rings is just filled with characters like that are just rich and well-rounded. So this is just messing around, exploring. I love exploring, like trying to find new ways to do proportions and find personality in characters. So just some quick little loose stuff. I also like drawing cavemen for some strange reason.
Yeah, what's the fascination? I see you posting a lot of cavemen.
I don't know, man. Like I don't have a deep bag of tricks. So like I kind of just do what I do and then try to like, I don't know, just keep refining and keep searching for like new interesting ways to do it. I think there's like a fun challenge in taking something that's like been done or an existing concept that we all know and trying to find like, you know, just new ways to like retell it. So I don't know. These are just some stupid, silly little cavemen.
Yep.
Cool.
Some rendering. Sometimes I render.
Yeah.
Rarely, but
yeah.
And then professional work. This is some stuff I did on Trolls World Tour. So this was super fun to work on. And this is this was a kind of brief where it was like there's a character that they run into that Cooper runs into that's jazz. We were calling it Jazz Bird. Like the idea was like basically like a living trumpet bird type thing, and like that's how a lot of the briefs on Trolls World Tour were. Very, very weird. So, and then it's up to you to kind of like, yeah, what does that look like? And like with trolls, like we're always thinking of texture.
Yeah.
And just keeping it weird. Like the gag was like just a one-off weird thing. So like, the weirder the better.
Man.
I think they chose this one, if you could see me circling.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Thanks, man. Another thing that I draw constantly is
Street Fighter characters.
Specifically like 2 Street Fighter characters for some reason. Again, just I love exploring shape. Some of these were done actually as like a class demo. Some of these are done just really like after work ends or during lunch. And just like, you just kind of have like this energy that you want to kind of get out and just scribble something for yourself. I think it's super important to always do work for yourself.
Yeah.
And then this is very of the moment. This is Zoom sketches that I do. Oh, there's Willie. Hey, Willie made it twice.
Oh, nice, Willie.
Double Willie. So yeah, this is just some of my friends on like Zoom calls or meetings, and like, I think it's always, for me, I learn the most from drawing from reality, drawing from life. I think that's where, that's like where it all starts. That's where like all the ideas originate from. So like your take on reality to me is like super important as a character designer. Yeah. And that's what I got.
Man, that's awesome, man. Who is this guy in the second? Oh, sorry.
Hold on.
Nope.
I can share again.
Nah, it's okay.
You recognize? Oh, you know.
Oh, this second one, he looks like he's spent, man. He's done with you as a person.
Oh, that's Zach. Yeah, he was a little tired today, I think. And then, Chris. We got Chris Mendez.
Yeah, we got Chris and John. Yep.
John V, Tim Lamb.
The most depressing. This is the most depressing page I've ever seen in my life.
Why is that? Because we're all stuck in boxes?
No, I'm just kidding. No.
Oh.
I was kidding.
It is depressing. I'd rather be sketching outside or like in a cafe.
All right, Maria. Yes. Maria, what do you think? Do you have some stuff?
I'll go. Let me see.
Jesse, amazing. I didn't mean to make fun of you guys. You guys are
No.
I love you so much.
For me, a lot of my stuff is kind of available online, but just to kind of explain, because like when I post drawing, I don't really explain everything about it. But this is like one of the design I got to do when I was working on Onward, and this is nothing like what was the final look of the design, but I just wanted to show it because we do actually go through many passes, and then it's not necessarily, the goal is not necessarily always what is the best design. Like there is a lot of factors that going into the decision making of like, oh, this is going to be the final design. So this is one of the many passes we did, and actually Willie actually did a pass too, and Chris did a pass too. So it's like so many people doing a pass, and then you just never know which one is going to be the final. And then after that, I got to design Mom. So those are like some of the story moments that I did. And then this one was interesting because he already actually director already had an idea for the look of it. So it was not really about the design when he assigned it to me. It was like he was not so sure about the character itself. So I decided to do a drawing that is like nothing to do with her being a mom. So it was like a lot of the moments I drew was like, what if so since she's a single mom, like what are the things that she can do that is nothing to do with the being a mom? So like this is like the one she dressed up for a date. Like there's a bunch of images that are on my website where it just like explain, oh, actually she's a character that has a multiple layer to it. It's not just like a mom character that you see it in the movie. So and she does go on an adventure in the movie. So this is like the image I did it afterwards. Which I'm like, it was in my head, but I never got a chance to do it because during the time I was working on this assignment, it was too busy of a schedule. But I did it afterwards and kind of considered it as a promo art. But it's just unfortunate that Onward just kind of like came in a difficult time.
Yeah.
What does it say on the bottom?
Ring to rule them all.
Jesse, can you?
Yeah, Jesse, can you read that?
You're the big Tolkien fan, right?
But and then like this is like some other freelance that is quite different than what I did at Pixar, so I just grabbed some of those. And this is just more like a personal artwork that I do personally. And then because I do so much digital work in like a work, so I try to do more traditional stuff when I get to do personal stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it, I think.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. I mean, Maria, beautiful work. Man,
thank you.
Come on, get out of here. She killed it. So I just wanted to thank you guys for like showing your work, and just sort of like talking through like everything that you guys have done in the past. So as far as the conversation goes, I wanted to bridge the gap between everyone that's here working as a character designer, and then people that aspiring character designers, right, to get into the industry. So I'll throw out my first question. I'll throw it out to the group, but what drew you guys to character design when you were first trying to break into the industry? You know, and then I will, Chris, Chris, what do you think? What drew you to
okay. Yeah. It's interesting. I think, when I was at school, you guys remember when you were a student, I think I liked a little bit doing everything. You're just trying to absorb like storyboarding, design, animation. And,
so hard, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like, I know like senior year is kind of like, I remember I taking a portfolio class and everyone kind of like choosing a path in a way where it's like, what do you want to focus that last year on for a portfolio? And I think during that time, I actually had an internship that year at DreamWorks.
Oh, nice.
And I was an intern, and I was like, I got to kind of see the art department, you know, and how the art department works and how the machine kind of like works for animation. And I was very lucky to kind of be close to all the character designers, this like hall of character designers in there.
Yeah.
I think they were making, I was an intern for like on Flushed Away and B Movie, but then all of the movies, all the character designs were in that section, and it was really inspiring because I think like Nico Marley was like at the time working in Dragons before it came out. And,
one of my heroes.
Like Carlos Grangel was there, and then Tony Ceruno, Devin Crane, and just like, so it's just like so many talented designers. And I remember during that time I brought my portfolio and some of my work to Tony Ceruno. And I was very lucky, like he actually gave me some pointers and some like assignments to work on the side. And then, you know, I remember bringing it to Tony to kind of give a critique, and then Devin Crane, and they were really generous with their time to like help me and kind of, I guess, it kind of like nudged me in the direction of like character design, because I like doing a little bit of everything. I like animating, but I wasn't like the best. Animating is really tricky, you know, it's like I like drawing the poses, but timing was, you know, it's very specific, and it's hard, you know, to kind of get that to feel right. I like character design because I feel like you get to wear a lot of hats. You get to experiment with costume design, you still get a few poses, and I think it was a fun place to kind of just focus my last year on, and that's kind of where I guess that was like my nudge into character design, was that internship, and kind of, started from there. Yeah.
Alexis, I want to ask you so we've met before, and you've kind of made it and thrived. What do you look for in terms of character design portfolios? Like, how can we help people like construct character design portfolios that will be you know, something that you know, industry people will take notice? What do you think?
I think versatility is like the number one thing, at least for me, because like I work in TV, and like every show looks different, and at least personally for me, what has helped me was like, oh, I can do this, and I can do a little bit of this, and oh look, I can do a turn. So I think that's like the most important. Like, I guess, yeah. I mean, I don't, in my recent, like the portfolio that you see now, if you ever look my name up, it doesn't have any turns or anything in it. It's like an older portfolio, but at least they know that I can do the turn, and like there's like TV style in there. There's like a little bit more like draftsmanship. I just, that's what I think. Versatility, and turns.
I think draftsmanship is a big thing that isn't talked about a ton. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. I'm just agreeing. Like that was like the major thing most of the character design teachers I had talked about. Like no matter if it was like the teachers that were mostly into the feature side or the TV side teachers, it was always about draftsmanship. And that was it.
Yeah. I mean, Jesse, you always talk about, to me, of just kind of like when you're, because Jesse is a teacher at CalArts, but like he always talks about like draftsmanship is the most important thing, you know?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's kind of like, if you're a musician, it's kind of like knowing the scales, knowing how to play all the notes. And once you know that, then you could do anything. It's just up to like your preferences, the choices like that you want to make, the things you want to say. But yeah, just being good at drawing, like it never hurt anyone. So, it's definitely good.
Yes, Jess, what is like draftsmanship? Is it like drawing solidly, or like anatomy, or like what do you think that is to you?
I mean, first of all, like I definitely don't consider myself by any means like the best draftsman, but yeah, like I think solid drawing, like understanding shapes and space, how to turn them, how to like, I mean, like, oh man, that's a tough question. There's so much into it.
Yeah.
But like, I think it's also like the subtleties of it. Like, I kind of sometimes think of drawing like you're kind of like sculpting out the shapes, you know, like you kind of start with basic shapes, but then you kind of refine them to make them a little more like dynamic and unique. So everyone knows like circle, square, triangle, but like it really does kind of start with those ideas, and then like, you know, it's unlimited what you can do with that. And I don't know, it's a tough question, Bobby.
No.
Draftsmanship is important. Yeah, just like knowing anatomy, and that's why we take all of those gesture drawings, and it's why you have to keep drawing from life. You know, it's like, I think specifically for character design, our job is to emulate life, you know, and try and create these characters that feel alive and find those specific things that make a character, I guess they come alive on the page, right? You're trying to sell that to make it sure it feel like it's living and breathing, you know. And so
that's awesome.
Those things are hard to have that specific guy, you know. And I think draftsmanship is important because you don't want to get in the way of like when you have a specific idea to try and make these characters feel like living and breathing, you know. And if you can't draw the hand right or something, it hurts that illusion of that character coming alive, right? I think draftsmanship is important.
Yep.
Well, can I say something, Bobby?
Yep.
I think Chris brings up a great point. Like, I feel like design is all about communication. So like what he's saying is like, yeah, if you have a great looking design, but something is off, it's kind of like a story or a movie where like a bad choice or a weird choice is made, and it just really takes you out of it. So if your design's great, but then all of a sudden you like made his hands really big and chunky, even though it's like it's a delicate character, then it's just kind of like, I'm confused now. Like, what type of character is this supposed to be? So having the chops to like execute the ideas that you have, that's like draftsmanship, I think. Right.
Yeah. What do you think? Maria, what do you think?
What?
So, Maria, I think maybe the bigger question is, I mean, what do you think it takes to break into character design, you know, like when you're a student?
I mean, like what they just said is like everything. I completely agree with everything that was just mentioned, but I think there's kind of a two stage, like the students who's trying to get into the industry, and then the ones more seasoned that is like trying to get better at character design. So there's two separate things. So in the stage one where like you just got out of college and you're trying to getting into the industry, like I think you kind of do your homework, which is a draftsmanship, in my opinion. Like you gotta do your study, gesture drawing, whatever it takes for you to make your drawing looks like there is no mistakes in your image that you're about to present to your possible, you know, hiring. So like when I'm looking at portfolio, like when I see the mistakes, like of course like students are not perfect, so they're going to have some mistakes here and there. But if it's like a too big of a mistakes, then it's really hard for me to pass that and then trying to look at their ideas. So that's like for me stage one, where like you kind of need to have a somewhat solid drawing skill. So then I can actually engage to look at your thoughts and into like ideas. And then stage two is like a second piece where you have like enough of a skill set ready, and then you're making not so many mistakes in the base drawing. Then that's where I'm like, okay, you have like a chubby character that you need to design. There's so many ways to go about designing chubby characters. So, or you bring the like a authentic takes, like, you know, that's like for me, like a next stage when like I'm looking into those things. Oh, I never thought about that, but you come up with a new solution I couldn't think of. Like then like those kind of a portfolio really like shines, and then like I usually save it. Okay, I remember those things, and then I also like asking for more specific solution they come up with. So I don't know, like it's the same thing, but just I phrased it differently. So
Maria, what do you think like is when you look at character design portfolios, like what do you think makes for the most effective way to make a statement trying to break into the industry?
Everyone has a different way to look at the portfolio, but at least for me, I'm really looking for somebody who can tell a story. So that's for me a big thing. Like if you make some mistakes here and there, I can probably help you to get better at it. But if you are not able to tell a story within your drawing, like that's something that really hard to like teach somebody. Because it's like their brain and heart. Yep. So it's hard for me to massage that, and then so I'm looking for that kind of a thing in the portfolio.
Got it. Yeah. What do you guys think, Jesse?
Yeah,
Chris.
Oh, I totally agree with Marie. Like the storytelling is pretty big. We see a lot of portfolios, you know, and I think sometimes, or a lot of times, I'd say when you see, like when you're in that room, the portfolio, and you see like hundreds of portfolios, you see a lot of the repetitions, you know, of like, oh, cool. I think I saw like 20 pages of cowboys, you know, but none of it's like really like speaking to me. And so you have to ask yourself as when you're submitting these portfolios, like how is this like cowboy or whatever knight you're designing, you know, it sometimes feels like generic, but what's going to make it stand out from the rest of them, you know? And I think that is like storytelling, like try to get to care about your drawings, put a little bit of effort where it doesn't feel like you went to like a Halloween costume shop, you know, and like, this is like the version of like, you know, it's just like you want to go that extra level, you know, of like the thinking, you know, and finding a way of putting a little bit of that history, you know, or go like, you know, finding different take with designs to try to make it feel a little bit extra fresh. And so I think having that balance of like showing that storytelling, giving that sense of history of the character, and finding a, you know, a fresh take on something that, you know, we haven't seen, and having that balance, you know, for me, like it makes me excited, you know, when I find a portfolio like that.
Yeah.
How do you think you can achieve, like how would someone do that, and how would they like achieve that like look of like authenticity? Would it be through like reference and like deep diving into a subject?
Totally. Yeah, I think it's definitely like reference. Like even if it's like I say portfolios is like trying to find like, you've seen like those where people gear towards a portfolio, you know, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna pick a short story, you know, but trying to do something where it's like Hansel and Gretel. We've seen that so many times, you know, or picking like a, you know, a kind of I would try and find something that, you know, that challenges you, that we haven't really seen before, you know, and try and put your take on it where the doors are really open, you know, for you to kind of put your own spin on something. And there's hundreds of short stories out there to kind of show like the way you think and how you kind of like design something from the ground up. But yeah, research I think definitely really helps. You know, it's like you know, because like you can be influenced by lots of things, but trying to find something specific to kind of gear towards that story, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll
Really,
take
what do you think?
But yeah, I mean, like you know, I mean, beyond looking at, you know, like character design portfolios, what are the things that you guys are trying to improve on, you know, like day to day? And then how are you going about that? You know, even as professionals, right? You know, Jess, we'll start with you.
Oh, did you want to?
Alexis, we'll start with you.
Hi. I've only been working for barely 4 years, and I need a lot of improvement. I haven't been recently. Like, I know I should be taking classes. So that's one thing I know I need to do. I need to go to more figure drawing classes to improve. I need to like do more classes on different things that aren't just character design. But yeah, that's what I say about that.
Right. Okay. Jess?
I same as Alexis, like I definitely should be doing more than I am. And I know that I have a lot to learn. I definitely like was a slow starter. And that's why like I think like all these guys are talking about, like if you just keep working like and working with like the right things in mind, like you can get there. So I'm constantly working on things. Like I was pretty terrible when I started, and in some regards I still am, to be honest with you. And I'm not just being modest. So like I don't know, what do I do to learn? I mean, like honestly, like so there like Chris was kind of saying, like there are, or I think Maria was saying, like there are different stages, like student stage versus professional stage. Like we obviously can't go to class all day and study all day. We have to work during the day. But then it's like, well, how do we spend our time? And honestly, sometimes it is just like a work-life balance. Sometimes to get better, I honestly just take time off and go for a walk, or you know, like watch a movie, you know, just hang out with friends, and I know that's a luxury that students don't have all the time. But other than that, like I think sometimes, like if I'm working on something all day, like let's say I'm working on turnarounds or model packeting, or looking at models or surfacing or something that's very like technical, and you know, it's still fun, it's still a really great part of the job, but it's not so like creative, I guess, in some ways. Then like, again, like I said, after the day, it's just like, let me just get like kind of all that creative energy that I kind of didn't get to get out, and just do what I want to do, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So like, that's part of getting better for me, is just like always kind of putting out something, you know, like as you know, I post a lot. I guess I'm kind of like, I don't know, I just draw a lot, so I also post.
Yeah, awesome. What do you think, Maria?
Me, I think as an artist, of course, I want to get better at drawings. Like there's times that I'm like, I have some idea in my head, but I cannot draw it easily as much as I want it to be. Then like start to going into deep down rabbit hole of myself, like I am terrible. You know, I think every artist goes through that because it's in your head, but you cannot draw it somehow, and then you try next day and then it didn't work out, and then like, so you know, that's like for me the artist side of me. But character designer for me is a little different. I think because we're, at least for like a lot of features, we're making 3D film. So the biggest thing I'm currently focusing on is how can I communicate this better to the people that is not artists. So like I went back to doing ZBrush again. I'm learning After Effects. Like what are the things mediums that I can use to communicate better? Because it's such an unfortunate thing, because we are, as an artist, there's so many cool ideas like happening in our art department, but somehow it become a bad idea because we didn't communicate well. And then it was such a unfortunate thing that is happening in so many like CG film studios. So I'm like, I that's like my biggest focus. Like I'm gonna crack that part. I'm gonna figure out how to communicate as efficient, as clear as possible, so that good idea remain as a good idea. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it brings up a good point of like, sometimes you don't know what you need to work on until it kind of confronts you.
Yeah.
Like you think like, oh, like I cleared this step, like now I know how to do this, and then you just kind of smack into another thing you don't know how to do, and it's continuous. It's never ending.
Yeah, I think every project like presents its own challenges too, because like different kinds of stories. Like, oh, I've never drawn this before, and I think it's like draftsmanship and like always kind of brushing upon like your drawing skills. Like, there's been so many. I feel like every day it's like something new. Where it's like, oh shoot, I'm struggling with this drawing. I don't know how to make this feel or look natural, and it's just. And, you know, it's like, I guess the trick is to try and make it look easy, but I'm actually like struggling all day to try and make a pose sometimes look, you know, effortless, or try to make it look like that life is still there in the drawing. And but yeah, that's something I struggle with daily too.
So I wanted to kick it over to our Rise Up animation Discord channel. So we have a community that you know, it sort of has its own like questions and all that kind of stuff. So if you guys don't mind, so the first one I wanted to throw out is to Alexis. As a woman of color, in light of all that's been happening in the world, are there any ways that I, as a Black artist, can advocate and push for more representation in character design? What do you think?
If this is for, okay. In my head, I'm like, is this person asking about like in studios, like asking for like pushing for more representation in like a studio? Because it would be really difficult. Yeah, okay.
I would say yes.
It's hard because like the people who are in charge, like sometimes they don't care. Like the main way to get, you know, the representation is like pushing in and being like, hey, I have a show, please greenlight it. Like I feel like that, because even on like just other shows, like you could maybe like nudge the showrunner, like, hey, maybe you can change like this side character into a Black person, and just, you know, they barely have any lines anyway.
Yep.
But it's like you also don't want to rock the boat because you need to pay your bills. Right. So yeah. I feel like the best useful way is to like, you know, pitch something or have like a really popular like idea or something where people, you know, look at it and be like, oh yeah, we need this on like TV or whatever. But like it's really difficult to like get your employers to be like, oh yeah, let's change this character to like a Black person, because, you know, it's, I don't know, I'm sounding really like pessimistic, but
no, I don't think you are. I don't think you are. I think you're just trying to figure out a way to navigate this whole kind of weird like state of just kind of like every studio wants to support Black Lives Matter or just like people of color, but they just don't know how to, right?
But in that same like thing, it's like, yes, visual representation is nice, but it's the people behind is what's really, really important. Like, okay, cool, you have a Black character, but like everybody on the show is white. Yeah. Okay, what is that doing? Like, I don't. That's what I think.
No.
Personally.
Yep. Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
That is my answer.
No. I mean, Alexis, yeah. I mean, that's a huge part of our discussion. So, if you have sort of like Black, sort of like showrunners that are running the show, I think that's what we need, right? I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm agreeing. I'm just saying, I'm being a verbal yes. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, I agree. Like the whole Matthew Cherry thing that was going on Twitter with like Nickelodeon like biting his show, that was kind of weird. But like, you know, I don't know who's working on that show, but hopefully they had like a couple of Black people on like, you know, I forgot what the other show was called, but yeah, just weird stuff like that. Just there just needs to be more Black showrunners, but like, pitch more, but
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just saying stuff and like doing nothing, but like
no.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Well, I mean, the thing that I come across, Alexis, too, is actually like we can talk a big game, but like, I mean, we're just talking, right? I mean, just kind of like, I hate meetings where we just talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate we just talk about it. We should do this, we should do that, and then there's nothing. And sort of, I hate that. I mean, like,
it also feels so hard to like talk to these studios. Like, these are big, huge conglomerates. Like, are you just gonna go up and say like, "Hey, we need this"? Like, what recently we've been saying it, even though like amongst Black people we're like, shit needs to change. But we don't want to like. At least personally for me, I'm not trying to speak for all Black people because we're not a monolith. But personally for me, I want to pay off these student loans, so I'm not going to say anything yet. But once I have financial freedom and I'm not scared of like being jobless, then maybe I will speak up more. But like you also have to think like some people just are just trying to live, But yeah, you need to like the studio's doing the little black square thing. It's cute and all, but like we need action. And I don't have the power to be like, hey, I'm gonna go and greenlight 5 different Black shows. Like I don't have the power for that. But hi studios, please do something there.
Yeah.
I feel like oh, sorry, Bobby.
Very good. No, Jess, go ahead.
I feel like the pessimistic view or like a bottom line view of it is like, once people start seeing that projects that tell different stories are doing better, like they'll do it because maybe not for the
money
reasons, yeah, but if they're like, oh, like Miles Morales, like that worked well, or like characters with stories with Latin characters, Asian characters, once they kind of see like, oh, there is an audience for that, that shouldn't be the reason, but they probably will follow suit and do more of those stories because at the end of the day, it is a business. And
that's the whole thing. It's like if there's money involved,
Yeah, not like the best motivator, but
yeah. I mean, but if I can ask you, Alexis, I mean, like, what what could we do? But like, I think I mean, like, what would you want to see?
Like show wise?
I mean, just industry wise, man.
I would like to see more of us around. That's like the main thing. Like I hate always being the only Black person on a show. Just first of all, get us into the fucking door. That'd be nice. And then this sounds so weird and so like utopian,
it's not
but like
weird at all. No, this
like,
isn't
have like
say anything you want.
Okay. Have like development programs for like Black people who want to like pitch something, because like they want to pitch stuff, but also they have like, at least I'm speaking for like how my brain is working, like some of them are really busy, they exhausted with everything that's going on, just like opening up Twitter, it's like what's happening today, like it's just overwhelming, and it's like you want to have time to like make things, but like you just feel so worn down. And it's like I saw one of my friends talking about how like pitching is like, it takes a lot of time out of your day, like that's a lot of time, and then you have your like full-time job on the side of that. Like maybe if like a program or something, almost like a art development, but for like pitching stuff, that would be kind of cool. But I don't know if the studios would want to give money to that. Like, would that even be a worthwhile like investment? I think it would be, but I don't know. But then you would also have to be super popular online or something, or people to like see your stuff and like, they have a like built-in audience, so that would work. But yeah, that's where my brain's going. Sorry. Okay.
No, that's good. That's awesome. I mean, Alexis, please feel free. I mean, honestly,
that's all I have. Like, if you have another question, I'm just like trying to think of other things, but like that's what I would like to see studios do, because like, yes, we're all like, I feel like it's a lot of not fully performative, but a lot of the stuff is just like, we hear you guys and we're listening to your like do you hear us? I don't know, but yeah, hire us more, because like they like to do this thing where like oh, they're just not ready, but then like I see some people, I'm like, okay, they're not ready either, but like, come on, like give us a little bit of a grace, because like a lot, like I didn't even know what like a portfolio was my senior year of high school. Like I didn't know, like my parents don't know art is a career. Like I'm not saying that like all Black people don't know what like art is a career, but I sure didn't. Like if I would have had like some help early on, like this like stuff, like the kids nowadays, they got mentors and they have this platform. It's like, I wish I had this when I was in high school, because I knew I want to do cartoons. It's like, I like the cartoons, I like the Disneys, and like I wanted to do that, but I didn't know how to get to it. I like met one person that worked in animation, like and that was all I knew. And then, you know, I was like, let me go to this really expensive animation school so like I can like get my stuff seen, because I didn't think I could just stay at community college, because like I needed to be around like the Cal Arts thing just to get like not attention, but you know, people look at my portfolio, because it's like, who's gonna go to Mount Sac? Even though Mount Sac is like, honestly, to me, I think Mount Sac was like the best school, because anyway, that's another story. But I just feel like we just need more assistance and just a little bit more help, you know? But yeah, that's it for me. Any rebuttals?
Yeah.
I feel like it's great that there is stuff like this, like Alexis was saying, where, you don't have to pay $50,000 a year to learn from people who have like first-hand experience. You know, you could just pop online, and I think that will bring up a lot of people who didn't have the means, or again, didn't even know about it, but they just like get a link or something, you know, and I think that's really great. I love resources like this. Like, I do teach at one of those big expensive schools.
I mean, I'm still paying off that loan for that big ass school, but yeah.
I'm lucky I went to a state university, but anyway, that's another.
Thanks for rubbing it in.
Yeah, I know. Because my mom was like, you are not going to an expensive school. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think stuff like this is great. Like, you know, I think getting people into like finding that higher level of work, or like just again seeing what it is to be a professional more early on, and then when it's like we want to hire more people of color, like there is a bigger base. I mean, I don't, you know, like not that there isn't one now, but there'll be a huge base of people like that, you know. Yeah. Again, as a white guy, this is my way of being it, but this.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, how are you guys feeling? Are you guys feeling good? Just kind of like, if there's anything else you wanted to say on the character design front, you know, say now. But what do you guys think?
On the character design front,
just in general character design.
Oh yeah. I can, I mean, like, to sort of give advice to anyone that's looking forward to being a character designer in the animation industry. What do you guys think? I'll start with Chris. Chris, what do you think? What advice can you sort of dispense on us, you know, as far as character design goes?
As for like students trying to get into
character
design?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think I think I touched a little bit upon it. Where like developing a portfolio, right? Of trying to find a way where you're showcasing some of your draftsmanship, some of your ideas into like storytelling, right? Into your characters. As for like skill set, you know, I think one thing I learned when I started getting into character design was like, oh, I need to draw more, and I wish I paid attention more to some of these other classes, because somehow all of the other classes relate, like starting. And so I think a lot of that actually is some of my 2D. I use my 2D animation skills from class so much that I didn't think I realized. I think there's parts when I, you know, started character design, it felt more like graphic design of like these fun shapes. But then as I started to kind of get into feature, I realized like, oh, moving some of these volumetric forms on the page just became a little bit tricky. And so it's like, it started to kind of like, I need to brush upon like my 2D animation skills in a way of like introducing some of that skill set into my design languages and stuff.
Can I ask you really quick, Chris,
yeah.
like your, some of your stuff from Onward is so rough and so, can I present stuff in that way? I mean, like, some of that stuff is so rough, and I'm like, oh my God, I love this so much.
Oh yeah, that's good to hear. I think there's a lot of
in a way of just kind of like, I need to make it like super polished, you know?
Yeah, that's good. I think it's good to know. I think when I first started, I felt like that's what, you know, I went the opposite route where things felt had to be more finished. And it became more of an illustration, you know, and some of that can lose a little bit of that life, and that life is actually what sells the director. Like these characters feel like living and breathing, and you know, feels relatable, and just like trying to find that balance, you know. But I also know, I mean, just even like story artists too, it's like these, you know, these drawings, you know, need to stay rough, because you hear a lot of like, you know, redos. You do a lot of redos, you know, and like, it's a long marathon, you know. And so I think my job really is to kind of present to a director ideas, and trying to open doors, you know. And if it's not going in the right direction, we're closing those doors and trying to find, like, you know, so we're just trying to, you know, stay afloat in that direction. But I think there are times, you know, where it's like you want to put like your artist statement on stuff, you know, and you can have fun with like the illustration and the exploratory phase, and that's always fun. But I think a lot of times staying rough and loose, you know, that's even something that I have to work on too. But I know in that specific project, I tried to stay loose and rough as much as I could to try and keep presenting new ideas, you know, because in the beginning stage on Onward, I was on pretty early, and so you're trying to present a bunch of options to try and narrow in on something. And so staying rough, you know, and trying not to be attached to certain things is good.
Right.
But I've also noticed too, where I've adapted these things where I'll start to like intentionally force myself to stay loose, where I'll start to like hold my Cintiq pen a little bit further apart, like to like not get too tied down. I actually learned that from like Tony Chili when I saw him like designing stuff, and I was like asking him like, why are you doing that? And he was like, oh, it's just a way of keeping things a little bit loose, and so I don't get too like tied down. And like I tried to like, I was like, oh, I try to adapt that a little bit and
chills
the way I draw things. Yeah. But I think it's a tricky thing, you know, as a student, you know, I think you're so adapted to like what the art books are telling you to do. And then when you're actually in the studio, you get to kind of see like, oh, this is the kind of tools I need for an approval or to help the process and move the design stage into like the next stage, you know? And so some of that stuff just being inside the studio is like helpful. You know, I think what Alexis was talking about earlier is like, how do we learn all this stuff earlier? It's like, having programs, you know, of like getting those students for exposure to kind of see like what we actually do, you know, and how we solve problems and how we use art, you know, to inform those things. The earlier the better, you know, to kind of help with that tool set.
Right.
But yeah, I think the big thing, students, you know, character design, trying to, one, like when you're a student, try to absorb as much information as you can. Draftsmanship, you know, is like important, you know, learning how to draw, understanding perspective, you know, the form and everything. But then then it's like trying to apply that to a story. Every story is different, has its different culture, identity, and trying to find that identity for the film. And so I think that's where, as a designer in your portfolio, where you can put your stamp on something, you know, it's like, this is how I can kind of inject my point of views and like, you know, put an identity and culture into like this story, right? And show how this can be like fresh and unique. And hopefully, yeah, a studio out there can kind of see that's valuable to like their specific show. Yeah, there's lots of, I don't know, there's lots of things, but
yeah, a lot of it. Alexis, what do you think?
I don't have much to add. I haven't been working for very long. I would say what really helped me get better was like observational drawings, like watching people like jotting down like their intricate face details, like, oh, that's a weird looking head, which doesn't sound very good. But you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
Like you begin to appreciate people more, and you also, you know, make your designs look more interesting.
Can I ask you, Alexis?
Sure.
There was a little bit of a someone had sort of put out a guide of just trying to design characters in a way that was like culturally relevant. Did you have any opinions on that? You know what I'm talking about?
I have not seen it. I don't think I've seen it.
Charlie, JV. Anyway, go ahead.
Is it like specifically like, oh, draw this shape eye for this kind of person, like that kind of thing?
No, I think it's more of like, don't do this because this is
like insensitive?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen it, but you kind of know when things look insensitive. At least I do. Like, don't make like those big, you know, don't make the tiny like just lines, you know, eyes for like, I don't know how to say it.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
If you lived enough, you know what like racist drawings look like. Type down racist cartoons and get your reference. Like, don't do that. Like, that's what I feel like. There's a way to make interesting looking people without being like stereotypical.
Right.
I don't know. I don't want to sound like you lose. Like, oh, I know what to do. Like,
you're not.
Yeah, that's what I think. Just look at real people in your life, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But don't be offensive.
For that part, there's one thing I kind of want to add is that because we are going through quite a lot in Pixar film, like diversity, being inclusive, and then what is offensive, what is not offensive. Surprisingly, even though you don't really get to see obviously on Onward, it was such a big thing. Chris knows, just, you know, like we had so many meetings just to talk about like, is it diverse enough? Like, but then like, and then from then on, like all the film that we're working on at the studio, our like top focus is like, are we doing it enough? So we are kind of hypersensitive. And then one thing I notice is that for character design, it gets really sensitive, right? Because like you do want to have a fun design, and then when you're not from that culture or when you're not from that race, like you don't know what is offensive, what is not. And then for some reason, like when I get to design an Asian character, I do push shapes in a certain way that other race might find it offensive. And then like, I think it's just a fun shape. Like, I don't know, like why you find it so offensive. So it gets into very, very like sensitive area, like what is the freedom of a character design and what is offensive, right? And then I don't have a solution for every bit of it, but another thing is also the representation that you do it in a film. So if you do have a character, like Asian character that is like a somewhat stereotype character, right? Then you also have to have a character that is nothing to do with the stereotyping character that is being presented in the movie. Like, for example, like Asian characters or like Asian boys, like often, like, you know, they have a smaller body figure or smaller, like, you know, the tiny little eyes, but then you do have a good-looking Asian boy who's chunky and who's handsome-looking that is in the show, then you're not saying that this is a one type of Asian character.
Exactly.
We have a whole range of Asian character, and then it just become like a specific feature of their character, not so much of a representation of the race. So that is one thing we are kind of like trying to approach, but there's so many ways we work on this problem, but I just want to add it. So
yeah, I think it's just like Maria said too, where it's like there's times when, you know, even I'm designing like an Asian character, like, you know, there's things that like, you know, I might not, you know, I don't see as offensive when I'm drawing it, but then sometimes, yeah, when you see other people drawing, you can find certain things that, you know, and I think that's just leading to the point where it's just, obviously we just need more diversity in the design department as well, you know, just seeing, or just having more people in those rooms to kind of like, you know, go back and forth with, right? But it kind of like starts with there. It's just, having a room full of, you know, more diversity as we're designing films, just so we, okay.
Maria, how do you deal with that conversation in the room?
Oh, like when they say, oh, they look offensive. Well, I try to understand where they're coming from, because right now, like, for example, like a lot of white people in the crew is hypersensitive. They don't want to offend anyone, so they're like, I don't know, Maria, that teeth look a little too big for what we can do. And then I'm like, okay, then maybe I can lose the teeth, but then like, is there anything other than teeth that I can push? Like it's going a little specific, so it's hard to understand out of the context. But I don't want to lose the battle completely. Like I'm trying to look for a solution that, okay, if that is bumping on you, then I will find other elements that can show the specificity in the characters. And then I will also suggest, do you guys actually consider having another Asian character that is kind of like important in this role? Like, could you add that? Like, can you actually replace this white character to be like a different version of Asian character? Like, do you consider that? Like, so I do that kind of suggestion, but once again, we are just like a character designer, so we can only do so much. But you know, I would just try to raise my hand and can we just do it? Yeah.
What do you look for from a character design standpoint, Maria? Do you think is it just kind of I mean, I know you just said it, but like not sort of going down the stereotypical just sort of thing, or what would you hope like in Asian film, a Pixar film, you know?
I mean, I kind of want to like it's kind of what I said, but then like it's still the deep research. It kind of combined with multiple things. So you do research, then you learn, oh, actually there's a multiple type of Asian character you could do if you did the research right, and then your way of thinking it is not like the typical way, right? So you approach it in a more like a cultured, more educated way when you design a character, right? So obviously whatever you design will come with more broader range of idea instead of the thing that you know. So for example, like I'm actually from Korea, so like I come with like an international culture, so I don't look at Asian the same way that Western culture look at it. So I just generally just bring it in a more broader spectrum. And then sometimes it's new to them. So it's like, oh, okay, there's a gap between like a international person look at the Asians and then the Western culture look at the Asians. So it just needs to be educated a little bit, because like the white skin is another big thing. Like, oh, Asians wants to have a big eyes and a white skin because they want to be like white people, but it's actually that's not really the truth. Like we have like the origin of the history where like back in the days when they had kings and queens, like they don't work in the field, so they have fair skin, you know. So it's just like a miscommunication and then not knowing where certain things coming from. So that just needs to be more adjusted and educated. Yeah.
Yep. That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, like, I think, I don't know. I mean, like, I think, if they are listening, they will be, you know, sort of about that. But how are you guys feeling? So do you guys want to go? How are you guys feeling? It's 12:20. Do you guys have to leave?
Leave to go where?
Oh, okay, cool.
It's fine.
And then so we can go into the Q&A questions that from our Discord, if you guys don't mind. How do you guys feel about that? You guys good?
Yeah.
Cool.
Should we pull them up?
Sorry?
I was gonna say, should we pull it up, or are you gonna like pick some and?
I'll pull it up. You have it though, too, right?
Okay.
So
good questions.
Yep. So these are questions from the Rise Up Animation Discord channel. Shout out to them. So I'll start it out of like, what was your first job in the industry, and how difficult was it to land that first character design position, given its competitiveness? So, Jess, I'll start out with you because you.
I struggled, Bobby.
Struggle, man. Struggle. Yeah.
It was incredibly hard. Like you kind of mentioned, like I graduated not in animation, so I didn't study animation at all. I was in New York, and it wasn't an animation scene out there. So like I kind of found like a character design class taught out of a comic shop in Brooklyn that was like by a guy named Rick Lacey, who like he worked on Venture Brothers, and like that was my first time, like kind of like what we're doing here, working with someone who's like, oh, I did this on the show. Like I can tell you, like, look for this, like treat shapes this way, blah, blah, blah. So like that was the first time that I kind of got that information, and that using that information, like I kind of started a portfolio up. And my first job was at Titmouse, New York, actually doing character layout, which is basically like tightening up storyboards and kind of putting them on model, or like plussing the poses.
Yeah.
Not exactly character design, but it definitely helped, like Chris was saying, kind of like see like characters moving and like how those shapes kind of change and all that.
You hustled so hard. I mean, like I remember seeing you hustling hard.
I was awful. I was terrible, and I still am in a lot of ways, but yeah, man, it was incredibly hard. And like you're saying, like, you know, there's a lot of people out there, and character design is it seems to be a field that a lot of people want to get into. And if you just look at the studios, like number wise, you know, like there could be, you know, 2 or 3 character designers on a project, and like 10 biz dev artists, like, you know, 15 or 12 story artists. Like the numbers are, it's scary, but you know, if you really want to do it, like just know that like you just got to work really hard, and like all these guys are saying, like take into account all the things about like telling, you know, like being having your personality come through in your work, being solid, blah blah blah, all the stuff that they've been saying. But I kind of got off track. My first character design. Oh, then I started doing freelance for like for Real Effects. I worked on the Turkeys movie. I think they ended up calling it Turkeys.
Real Effects.
Oh yeah.
It's like the rock birds.
I think it was either called Freebirds or Turkeys.
Freebirds. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that was huge. Like that was awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the heck I was doing, but I tried really hard, and I just asked a lot of questions, and you know, like try to fill in the blanks as much as possible, and honestly, just, you know, like working with those people, having a good relationship, and doing good work, working hard. Like then I went on to like their next movie, which was Book of Life, working with Jorge.
Right.
So like that was like a whole nother style, and learning other new skills. So yeah, I think it's just being adaptive, like working hard. I keep saying working hard because that's kind of me. Like I I don't think I'm innately talented really. So like, yeah, I think just learning, adapting is really kind of what helped me just keep going. It's tough.
Right. Yeah.
I hope I didn't paint too much of a desperate picture for. It's honest though.
That was perfect, man. I mean, like, I think what I wanted to ask for people that are just coming out of school. So, like Alexis and Maria, what about your portfolios do you guys think caught the attention of the studios? Alexis, we'll start with you. Alexis, hey.
Honestly, well, the first job, I know he saw my portfolio. Okay, my first job I got it because my teacher was show running TMNT, and like I was like, please get me out of this school system. Like the loans are getting ridiculous. I'll do anything here. Let me draw some freelance for you for free. But yeah, for that, like he saw my portfolio. He like would tell me like, oh, take this out, take that out, show a turn or something. And I basically just did like a test for like months, just trying to get like the style of turtles down beforehand, which is nice. So basically he gave me like the grace to like get better.
What do you think, Alexis, about your work that caught his attention though?
I don't know. Maybe he keeps saying the draftsmanship, but I never saw it, but because I was still like not very good. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think so. Maybe the draftsmanship. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that was
it. I get it. Yeah. So he was.
It was like right after the Disney TV internship, so I had like all that stuff in there.
Right.
And like he saw like the different styles that we did for Bobby's character design workshop. That was really fun.
Sure.
Yeah, that's how I got that first job. But then like all these other new jobs, they just see like my old portfolio and like, oh, that's cool.
What do you think, Maria? Like what kind of like helped you? You have a character design portfolio. You're a student. What helped you like break into the industry?
My student portfolio was, I think Chris kind of mentioned it, like take a story that everyone know and then kind of do your take on it. So I was doing the Mary Poppins, but then I was doing the prequel of Mary Poppins. That was my idea. So you know how in the Mary Poppins, like she kind of comes with like a full package, mature, like magics, all that stuff. And then like my question when I watched the movie, like where did she get that from? Like I want to know. And then that's where the my portfolio started it. So like I kind of like did the portfolio, but then like not just like the character design. I mean it's mainly focused on character design, but I added a lot of storytelling image within the portfolio, so it feels like almost like a picture book type of a deal. And then after that, and then like so like when the people come to the school, like college, like what most students do is like they put it in a big like a portfolio book, the black one, and then they put their image in it. And then I'm like, I'm not gonna stand out with that. So I actually printed really big paper. And then I made a little book. So out of all these black portfolio file, I was the white one that looks like a giant book. So that actually helped me quite a bit because they're gonna like just pick that one. What is this one that is not like the rest of it? So that's how I got my first Blue Sky art internship. And then from then, you know, then Paramount, and then freelance for a bit, and then Pixar. But like, I think it's just sometimes it's a luck too. Like the reason I got hired for Paramount is because director was developing something that kind of like my portfolio was fitting into the style already. So a lot of times that happens quite often. Like, oh, I see, because directors cannot really see based on your one artwork that, oh, this person can do this and that and that. They just like connecting to whatever they're working on. And then, so that's where the little bit of luck comes into place. And then I got lucky for the Paramount part. And then from then on, you know, just keep going, I think.
Right. Yeah.
Can I jump in, Bobby?
Yeah, Jess, do it.
I think Maria brings up a great point, and like people have touched on this before. Like, that's why it's really good to have a diverse portfolio, because it's like sometimes people can be a little weird about it. Like, oh, we're doing a pirate movie, but I haven't seen you draw any pirates. Like, can you? And it's like, yeah, like you see that I can draw many things. Like, clearly I could, but sometimes if they don't see that, then they can't kind of fill in those steps. So like, you know, I see a lot of portfolios, and especially like with younger students, where it's like, it's just kind of like one thing, you know, like just like monsters or just like schoolgirls or something. And it's like, that's great. Like, you can draw those really well, and I can tell that you can draw other things, but like, yeah, let's see you draw other things, like communicate some other concepts, because that's going to help you, you know, as fickle as it might be, that's going to help you get those jobs where someone's looking for a specific thing.
That's a great question too, because like, I think I have a lot of mentees that just kind of say, should I have like a specific like style, you know, that I roll with for the rest of my life, or should I be more diverse? What do you guys think about that? Chris?
Yeah.
Chris, what up?
I know, like, when I first started, yeah, that was like an assignment that I would get. I remember even when I was at DreamWorks, like, remember Tony Saruno, you know, mentioning like try different styles to show how diverse you can be.
Yeah.
And so I do feel like, yeah, starting out, it's also good for you to kind of like, as an assignment just for a student, just to kind of, because that's part of the job as well, is sometimes you get on projects that it's not necessarily like your first way of designing something, but you can expose, you know, the production is you to the production designer that you're pretty versatile. But I do feel like it's very important. I wouldn't say it's like the priority of the portfolio. You know, for me, it's actually more important to see the artist's voice, because you want to see that identity and like the kind of problems that they would solve. You know, that's the most important thing to me, actually, is like seeing that artist's voice come through. You know, and then if you want to throw something extra on the side of like, and also I can do these other things, that's cool. But for me, it's like actually important to kind of see that person's, you know, unique voice and that talent that person can bring. Right. So we decide to kind of showcase that in the portfolio, you know, of like the kind of storytelling you do, the kind of design, you know, the kind of like storytelling you do. If you're more of a humorous designer, you can show your kind of humor in your designs. Or if you're more of like something that's like has like a really solid understanding of balancing like shapes in your design, you know, and like color, just like whatever your thing is, you know, your kind of storytelling, like showcase how you tackle the problem. And then if you, sometimes people would want to see like those extra kind of drawings to show like, you know, your versatility and stuff. What do you guys think, Alexis?
I think like totally agree with Chris. Like, problem solving and just communication is like number one over style any day, because styles change. You know, your style might not fit, but if you can, you know, if someone asks you to draw me like an angry chef that's been like drinking for a bunch of days and he's hungover and like, you know, he's living this lifestyle that is like clearly described in the script or the description. Like, if you can't do that, if you're, you know, pushing shapes or whatever, but it's not that character, then it's kind of useless, you know. Like, it's cool that you can explore so much, but if you're not like finding who that character is, it's, you know, it's good for your own stuff, it's good for your own fun, but like for the sense of the movie, like they're casting someone, or for the show, like you have to bring like the perfect actor like to the casting.
Also, you know, I don't want to get like too heavy on this, but showing some sort of a few pages of like production work that you understand like form and show that you can turn these characters around. I think there's an illusion of what visual development is, you know, in like these feature houses, where it's just like the fun, you know, paintings and things that we do. But I'd say 80% of the job is actually being a team player and working with, you know, technical departments and working with them of like crafting and taking that drawing to like the final stages and things. And so a lot of that is like doing lots of drawovers and understanding form and knowing how to like communicate, you know, that. And so having like a few pages to showcase how you've taken like a concept and an idea, and whether it's like sets or characters or props, and showing like how your vision can be translated into 3D forms, if that's the direction you want to go in for like 3D animation. Yeah, let's say.
Right. Really.
Maria, why are you smiling?
It's just because you said the right thing, right? I think there's one thing I kind of want to say that is nothing to do with portfolio, but for the students to have a kind of a reality of what our job is. Like, I think there's a question about what is our daily life is look like as a character designer. And then what you guys see in the online or website, like the fancy part of it, is literally 1% of our job. Like I'm not like over exaggerating. I think 99% of the time I am doing something that is not exciting. It's like, but because it's not exciting on the surface, but I have a purpose of doing it. So I'm having fun. But whenever interns comes to the studio and they actually get to have a taste of what real job it is, and then they're kind of like having they're overwhelmed and they're like processing quite a bit. Oh, pace is so fast, they're moving so fast, I never draw this fast before. And then like, oh, this is not really the conceptual artwork that I saw in an art book, because we don't do any of that. It's maybe like 1% and we do that, and then 99% is like, oh, okay, they did not get this part. How am I gonna draw this again so then they can understand this? That's like that's our job. So I don't know. I don't like how like some on the social media they kind of like you know, put in a nice wrapping paper about our job, but it's actually not really that fancy job. Like there's a lot of hard work that's going in, and then
right.
I don't know. Yeah.
You have to be able to communicate. Like you have something on paper, you drew like a triangle, right? And then the 3D guys, like they made like a pyramid or something. You're like, oh no, I might have to do like a cone. It's like, how come you didn't, you know? And so you just have to make sure you put that up front of like communicating some of those ideas for like whatever you need even to communicate. But I am curious, like Alexis on Ninja Turtles, like how much of that would you say is like design work and how much of that is production and doing turnarounds?
Turnarounds, a lot of turnarounds, a lot of redressings.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like our job is just not sexy looking job at all. Like,
so yeah.
It's so frustrating for me because like then I have to tell these interns like, no, like you know what you should know what you're signing up for. Like that fancy part is just such a surface level, and then you're not gonna be successful in your career if that's what you're chasing after. So
yeah, like the reality.
We don't even get art books.
The reality.
Get art books. Yeah.
The reality, Bobby, is like once you're like in production, like that fun stuff, you have your character design assignment, right? And it's like, okay, I have to design these like 5 characters this week or whatever, and you have to show by Friday, you know, kind of like how you kicked off on like a school assignment. But that is like almost like your homework in a way, where it's like, okay, I'll do this after like, or it's like that's like your day job actually is working with like technical department and feeding them and making sure like you get these other characters moving and stuff. But and then you still have to get your character design assignment to show for art review. But I'd say priority is actually working with technical and making sure that your designs are being translated correctly and you know they're getting what they're needed. And then you have to kind of like make sure that's why some of my drawings on Onward was kind of like a little bit rough. It's just like more of like, okay, just to get the idea up and then like, you know.
Hey, we all worked on Onward, remember? When we all worked on that? Yeah. I didn't. Yeah. And Alexis, we didn't. But we all did. All you guys.
and then I just want to add one more thing. So that's the reality of it. And then the real reality of it all is that when you get a character assignment, like director want you to design something, and then you design something, everyone in art love it. We are gonna sell this idea to director. We're gonna have this blast moment, and then we pitch it, and then director is like, nah, I don't think so. And then the thing is, you cannot emotionally attach to this design because the turnaround is quite fast. So you just kind of like, okay, well that didn't work out. Then you have to like come with something brand new, and then that's like another thing. There's another questions like about like how we do this, and then you just cannot have any attachment to your artwork at all. Like it's useless for you, useless for everyone, and then it just draining your emotionally draining you. So just like, you know,
And that's again why it's good to be versatile, because like if you kind of give it your best shot, you throw your best pitch or whatever, and it's like it didn't work, well then you have to figure out what to do next. You know, you have to be able to, oh, okay, they're looking for this type of character, and the reason I didn't get those characteristics across is because of this. Like asking the right questions from the director or whoever you're working with, and then again, yeah, being able to change and adapt. Like that's huge. If you can't adapt, if you're like, no, my design was good, like, you know, that's it, and you're not going to be working. You know, even if you have all the talent in the world, but you're hard to work with. You know, like just be a nice person. I don't think we have talked about this yet.
No, that's great.
I think you should be like a nice, treat others the way you want to be treated. Don't be a jerk. Be someone who, I mean, don't be fake. You know, be yourself, but also be someone who, you know, people want to work with.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, working with Maria was difficult. No, I'm just joking. Maria's great to work with. She's fantastic.
But yeah, that is true. Like what Jesse and Maria brought up was like the rejection, you know, of like you get excited about something that week and you put it up and it's like, no. But then you have to reinvent the wheel like every week. You're like, okay, how can I find some new take that actually makes me excited, you know? And it's definitely like a weird relationship, you know, like trying to like keep finding something new to kind of keep yourself invested and put something in front of the director each week.
I think sometimes too, like no one really knows the answer. So like, that's when you kind of, like for me, like, that's when I throw out like a wide range of things. It's almost like bringing out outfits to like, or like wedding dresses, like which one is it? You can show them a lot of options, at least to hone in. Like maybe one of those is close enough. So okay, it's something in this ballpark, and then you start to hone in on it. But again, like having that ability to like communicate, understand, and then adapt and like figure out who that character is, then is pretty big. I don't know how to learn that. I guess just like live a life.
But it's a different kind of pace, like feature and TV, you know, like I've done like a little bit of both. And feature, it's like, it's this long like marathon, you know, and so you have to like make sure you're pacing yourself for like the ride, right? And TV, it's very quicker. And so there might not be as much iterations for that timeline, you know?
Right.
I'm right, Alexis, like I'm sure it's like, I'm not sure how many iterations you would do like for a character design, but it wouldn't be like months, you know? You probably have like
a week.
Yeah, a week. Yeah, to get something.
Like when you
and
were
then
saying,
you get to get that to production, right? And send it over as quick as possible.
Like when you were saying like, oh, like I get excited at the beginning part. I'm like, I don't even have time to get excited at the beginning. I'm just like, okay, I need to get these 3 variations. Hopefully one of them will work, and then just like push it out. Like, okay, here you go, you have it. Now let me move on to this next assignment so I can get it in by Tuesday. And it's very quick.
Yeah,
but, you know.
I'm curious for you, like if you were, you know, your character design art director for television, what's important for you for looking like for a character design for television portfolio that you want to help you out on the project?
Yeah, what would you want to see?
Turns, because we need help on turns. Versatility, being able to like, I already said turns. Being able to like show like the form, that's what I'm trying to say, the form of the characters, like, because once you know the form, you can do anything. So yeah, that's like the 3 major things: versatility, a good turn, form. We still do want to see like your voice, but like you're on it, like, you know, it's not fully like your own show, so you still need to like be able to like do what the director and the EP wants you to do. So yes, you want to hear your voice, but can you execute my voice? Basically, like, can you execute what I'm trying to look for?
Yep. Yeah, that's great. I mean, like it's kind of a balance, right? Like all of us, I mean, like Maria, Jess, Chris, and Alexis, I mean, like we all want to tell our own stories, but like in the beginning, when we are kind of breaking into the industry, we're telling other people's stories, right? And so that's fine.
There's nothing wrong with it.
No, not at all. So it's about like getting on the same page with them, you know, whether it's kind of cartoony or realistic or that kind of stuff. So, I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, like, you know, that first gig that you guys had, you know, what what kind of got you into the industry? Like, we're all, everyone on the call is trying to, you know, break into the industry, and you know, especially for character design, it's a lot of just kind of like, man, kind of like rough and tumble stuff. But like, you know, what can we say to people that'll help them? You know, what do you guys think?
I got something, Bobby.
You got it?
Yeah, I got something. So on the project that I'm working on, or you know, I'm finishing up on it soon. But when we were looking for other character designers to come on board, obviously I was thinking of people I know, people who I trust. But at the same time, I was searching Instagram, and I was just seeing like who's putting out like really cool work, you know, like and I find someone, I look at their feed, and I'm like, okay, like even if they don't have, you know, like I can tell like, yeah, they could execute our style. They understand how to, like Alexis was saying, like understand proportions, and if I give them a design or a sketch, they can interpret it and bring it to life, make it happen. Yeah. So keep that feed fresh, keep it good.
Yeah, I totally second that. I'm not sure how, like, I mean, I don't know how long that portfolio system will last for, but I think, yeah, Instagram or like social media, it's like, I think I find new talent that way, you know, and you find yourself, you know, when you're on looking at someone's artist and then somehow it links to like something else and you just go down that rabbit hole, but you can just find so much talent going through that rabbit hole and unexpected kind of ways.
It's not about followers, it's about the quality.
Yeah. I want to say that.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
So like, I am actually heavy on Instagram looking for talents. I actually have a little folder separately, possible interns. So I just like save one of their artwork, and then I have their name on the list. But it's nothing to do with followers. Some of them are less than 1,000 followers that I have it on my list. And then like, it really doesn't matter. We don't really care about how many followers you have. And sometimes you have crazy followers that can almost hurt you in some ways. And then like,
how so? I'm curious.
I know.
It's like, so how, like, I look at their feed, right? They have like 100 or 200 posts, and then I try to see how they got those likes and how they gain their followers. And then if it's nothing to do with how they talk about their ideas or story, it's like, for example, like repeating themselves over and over again, and that's how they got, there's so many ways to gain the followers. And then, if that's how you gain the followers, then it's a question mark, because like, if I hire this person, like, is this person gonna repeat the same thing that he or she was doing on Instagram? Because that's not helpful for me. So then that's where the judgment comes in, and like, probably not. But there's a people who have like a pretty good amount of followers, but then every post is like different ideas, and every post like they're changing styles, or they do something that like Jesse said, keep it fresh, and then it really, they will like, I will consider them more. So it is really nothing to do with the follower numbers. And then I know some young students like feel very down about, I don't have enough followers. I don't think if my artwork is going to be exposed to the right people. Like, if your idea is good and fresh, it will get there. Like, you know, so it's really like, followers are like, I don't know, it's kind of a surface thing for me.
Yeah, to me, that's like the double-edged sword of Instagram, is like, if you are there to get more followers, you're probably, like Maria was saying, generating like a similar thing, because you're noticing that people like this. Okay, let me post something else like this, and you keep going in that vein. But like, you've heard us all talk about being diverse, like being able to tell different stories through design. So if you're kind of just chasing like likes, which again, you know, you can do that, that's fine. I'm not judging you for that. But like, I think if you're trying to get a job as a character designer, but you're just showing one thing, then that's tricky.
Yeah.
Just to add that, like, I think nothing is wrong with it, but it's just like, when I look at it, it's hard for me to judge whether this person is suitable for the show. And then like, people get to do whatever they love, and which is completely fine. But you cannot say that you keep doing things that is whatever is trending at the moment, and then say that, oh, actually I have all these voices that I just didn't had a chance to put it out. Then how am I supposed to know? Like, it's hard for me to, you know, get to see the whole spectrum of you if you're not posting that side of it. So.
And I
actually,
do think
someone just. Oh, go ahead, Chris. I just posted something about fan art. I'm curious of like fan art in portfolios. I get this question a lot, you know, in portfolios. Like, is it okay to put fan art?
What do you think, Chris?
Oh, I'm curious of like to hear from everyone else too. I think especially from Alexis too about like working in TV because like adapting to like a show and stuff. But I think for a feature,
Alex, what do you think?
You know,
Lex, what do you think? Fan art in a portfolio, yay or nay?
I don't mind it, but I know a lot of I don't want to make it as an ageist thing, but like a lot of like more seasoned artists don't want to see it. I don't mind it because it's still art at the end of the day. Yeah, it is somebody else's art, but then it shows that you can draw on the style of like another show. Sure. That's how I view it. I'm a fan of fan art. It's what helped me get into art. Mm-hmm. So I feel like being negative towards it is really like hurtful to like young kids, but like I get it. Like if you want to get a job, maybe don't put it in your portfolio, but I like your fan art. It's cute. It helps. Yeah. It helps you get to where you are.
Yeah.
So
I think fan art's like okay if it's for yourself, you know, like put it on Instagram, or if there's like a specific show, you know, that you are that's already like in its like third season and you want to put some of that stuff in there and it fits into the style of the show, I think it's okay. But I think it's for like, I know like for me personally, like when I'm on a show, we're trying to come up with something fresh and new, you know, or trying to build it from the ground up. I kind of like to see like, okay, how would you approach like these problems, you know, and see like their thinking.
Right.
So I sometimes shy away from it, but I am curious, like coming from TV, you know, like what Alexis was saying was like, I could see like how, if you're applying for that specific show, you know, and to kind of show like your take on it, yeah, and how you could fit into the show, yeah.
But to be safe, don't put it in.
yeah, I think it's okay for you. Your own like personal stuff. But
yeah, but I'm not hiring.
yeah. Do you guys agree?
You love fan art, right?
Yeah.
What?
Maria, love fan art.
My opinions on it? Fan art is fine, but I have a specific taste in fan art. I think I don't know if you guys know, but then I only know the Instagram Smarty Farty. Like I think that kind of is a good fan art where you truly love what you want to do. So like you're a fan of Miyazaki. So but it's completely you have your take completely. So you flipped it. So it's nothing. It looks nothing like Miyazaki's real film. So you have so much voice that you kind of mixing it all together in this fan art. Then like I am like, wow, this is like truly a good fan art because you're truly a fan and you love so much and then you do so much of study to make a image to illustrate like how much you love this film.
Right.
So
right.
but there's a bad fan art.
I don't know. I should read you guys the doc. Did I ask number 3? I'm so tired. To Alexis. Did I ask that?
The woman in color one? Yeah, you asked that one.
You asked that one. Okay. And then I think there was a question that was like most artists tend to focus on marketing pieces. Did we touch on that one?
Marketing pieces?
Yeah. Okay. So the question was most artists tend to focus on pretty finished marketing pieces. Coming from a gaming concept art background, how much weight does showing the concept / idea creation process hold in compared to just kind of showing the like finished piece?
I love to see the work. For me, it's like a math problem. Don't just show me like the answer. Like I want to see how you got there. So like I love to see the thought process, the stuff you threw away, the research you're doing, like what you're pulling from. Yeah, I mean the finished piece is great because that's what you might turn in at the end of the day. But like seeing how someone got there tells me how they're gonna work.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
No, I totally agree with Jesse. Yeah, I like seeing the process because I think we kind of touched upon it, but it's like a marathon, right? We want to see like those problem solving, your way of thinking, and how you're going to get to that final solution. Yeah, I like seeing the thinking as well.
Yeah. Alexis and Maria, are you guys comfortable with showing that like process? I mean, like, I know I'm not always. I mean, like, what do you guys think?
I don't mind showing it.
Yeah.
I remember even like going to like CTN and getting like a portfolio review from like Pixar, and they're like, yeah, we need to see more rough stuff. And I was like, what? Because I was so like
rough stuff.
That's what I call it. But yeah, I remember my stuff was always so clean, so I guess that's why I just was like, let me get into TV because I don't have enough time to like, you know, change up, I guess. Like I was just so worried about getting out on time, but I wouldn't mind showing it. I think I think they're fun to look at, but I don't know what TV people actually look for, to be honest. Like I think they like more clean stuff to show that you're like a good worker. But yeah, that's what I think on that.
Well, shit, that's a good question. Like, what do you think, Jess? I don't know what TV people like for either.
I can't do beautiful work. I can't do pretty pieces. So all I show is rough stuff. So of course, I love rough stuff. Yeah. No, I'm in envy of people who can do these polished tie down things, and I think the importance of that is to like, you could be showing like what the style can look like a look of picture thing to like prove like, hey, like the movie or the show could look like this, like a style frame, you know? I think that's important in that instance. And I think that I've learned that over the years. Like I used to kind of poo-poo that a lot and just focus on like, no, like I'm just going to focus on shapes and design and understanding all this. But I've learned that like, again, like talking about, it's about communication. Like if you have all these ideas, but like, if you can't show them what is in your head, what it might actually look at, then it's kind of wasted, you know? Like we don't just draw for ourselves. Like we're doing it for other people to see it.
Yeah.
I mean,
what do you think?
There's one thing I want to add, because it's funny, because when I got the first performance review at Pixar, I think their one and only feedback is that I make everything too clean and pretty.
That was mine too. That was mine too.
And then,
Chris? Yeah?
Yeah, that was my performance review.
Really?
First one. Yeah.
Pixar things?
Yeah, high five.
And then like, they just want to see rough. They say, can you do more rough stuff? And then like, you know, like my understanding, it clicked me later on. Like what they're trying to say is that they want to see multiple ideas that you can come up with. So don't waste your time refining one thing. That's what they meant when they said rough stuff. So like in some way, like your one idea or one or two idea is not enough for us. So don't waste your time on that. So it's interesting because right after I have that feedback, I got to work on mom. That's why like a lot of mom stuff is like a pencil sketches.
Yeah.
Because like, okay, they asked for it, so I have to do it. But like the one you see in the website is like a 10% of it. Like there's so many versions of pencil sketches that is not being seen in the online. But that's what they meant when they say they want to see rough. Like they're not feeling the idea, so can you do more? So that's pretty much what they mean, I think.
Yeah, there's been so many like occasions, you know. I think when I was at Pixar just starting out, I think that was like the aha moment for me when I finally realized like how I can survive here. Was just when I first started, I was just like doing like illustrations, you know, and it would take some time doing these paintings because that's what you think, I guess, the art of books kind of, you know, portray, and that's what you feel like you have to be doing. And and then realizing like in that first art review, or the few art reviews, like everyone's just cranking on ideas, you know, and I think the amount of time I spent like, you know, one day, you know, on like a illustration, everyone else was doing like just multiple like ideas that kind of show different kind of directions and like reinventing the wheel of like how stories can be told for like these characters and stuff. And so I think that's why, you know, trying to get in the habit of just like being okay showing like your dirty laundry or like your rough drawings, you know, just like it's okay. To kind of like, so I think that was like,
So Chris, Alexis, Jesse, how do you pitch that dirty laundry, if you don't mind me asking?
It's a good question. I learned this actually from when I first started at Monsters University, was like with working with Daniela Streleva. You know, man, like she just, all of her thinking is just very solid and fresh, you know. And I remember that first art review.
She came in with a pitch.
Oh my God, yeah, like it's almost like her board was just like really clean of just like, here are all of my reference ideas, and you know, and then when you see her drawings, you know, you see how she connected those things with her drawings, and like somehow it became more alive in a way where it's like, you didn't even need to be there. I can walk through and I understand like how she pieced things together. And when she presented it, there was like even like a story behind of like what she was inspired by and how that like makes it feel appropriate for the character that the director wants. And by the time she's with the presentation, her drawings felt more alive. And I tried to kind of follow that method in a way of like how I approach things, was showing some of my thinking of kind of what I went through the process of finding work and why it felt as appropriate for going this direction for the week for the character design, and then showing like your take, be inspired by it but not copying it, but how that influenced your week of designs, you know. And that's kind of like how I present stuff, you know. And I tried, like when I pitched a class or when I taught a class, try to give an assignment that way, like picking a short story, starting with a lot of research. I try to like, you know, take away their pencils, you know, that first couple of weeks of just making sure you spend that time thinking and then processing. And then rather than just like diving into like your character design, it's like draw from your research first. This is what you want to show the director, but just more of you processing, because in that process you create shorthands for yourself and not realizing you're doing. And it's just, it's like life drawing, you know, when you go draw something, it's like seeing it from real life. You somehow like it goes through you and it becomes part of like an internal clip art in a way, you know, where it's like, I know how to, you know, you find those small specifics, and it's those small specifics you wouldn't have seen that unless you drew it, you know. And then from that process you kind of bring that into your design work, and then those small little things become authentic in the character that make something feel believable and living and breathing. And I guess those are the small things I look for in portfolio, and also like that's how I design my week or like my assignments, my own design assignments.
Right. Alexis, do you feel the same way? Like, because I know it's a little bit different.
Different speed,
How do you pitch your work?
We don't really do pitches. I'm trying to think back to a time on Turtles where I like, well, there was like one character that I had to design, but I put like 8 different versions on a sheet, and then I went to Andy and I was like, I want this, and I want her to look like this, but then he ended up going with his design.
What was get specific? Like, what character was it, and what did you want to? How did you want her to look?
It was this character called Sunita. I forgot what show she shows up on, but I think she was like an Indian girl. I think she's supposed to be short, and she had like these big chunky boots because that was a part of her character. And I wanted her to be like kind of like a gothy, like emo girl with like a short haircut. But I think that was a little too edgy for the studio, so or at least edgy for Andy. He was like, "No, I want to go with mine." I'm like, "Okay, it's your show. Go." But yeah, that's like the only time I've like ever pitched something. Most of it's just like, here we have this assignment. We want this, this, and this. You know, give us 3 versions of it, and then let's see, and then we'll review it on Tuesdays. Okay.
Yeah. That's awesome. And so eventually you got it like bought off on, but like working with, that's interesting. I mean, like the notion of kind of creatives working with executives, I think is a weird, like, but little talked about kind of like relationship. I mean, like how we all work with executives, right?
Oh, Bobby, can I chime in on that?
Yeah, dude, chime in, please.
It's the worst. No, I'm just joking. It's great working with executives. I love them.
They're the worst.
But that kind of when we were talking about being rough, like sometimes you know, like again, showing stuff, like I think be rough but not messy. I think a rough should still communicate the character and the shapes and everything that's there. It's just not fully cleaned up and like, you know, realized. But like if you show a rough and then they like say, yeah, we like this, but it's so messy, then you were to clean it up and like do a turn, then you're like, what am I doing? Which line did they like? Which actual shape did they like? So I think there is a difference. Like it should still be presentable, and that like like the whole communication thing. Like okay, I see who it is. It's just not beautifully each line isn't just manicured and like
right. Yeah, man. Yeah.
And then hopefully they get it.
Yeah. Really quickly, so we're approaching 104. It's been a while, but thank you guys for making the time. I just wanted to ask you guys, we'll go down the line of Chris, Alexis, Jesse, Maria. What are you guys trying to work on to get better at? And, is there anything that you're trying to improve at, and then how are you going about that? So, Chris?
Oh, man. Starting with me, I think I touched upon it earlier a little bit, but I think all of it, we keep talking about draftsmanship, right? And like drawing is very important,
Draftsmanship is so hard.
And we say that for students, but it's like actually for us too, is like we also get rusty. And I talked about it, there's been so many occasions where I'm drawing, it's like, okay, I have my reference when you draw, and I'm like, oh man, I'm really struggling with this drawing today. And it could just be something silly about how a person like holds a cup, but it's very specific. You had something specific in mind, but that small little way of someone holding that cup says so much about the person. And so you really try to like keep working at it to make it feel right, and I think some of that is just like making sure you keep building that, or you're working on that drawing muscle to kind of make sure that when you have these ideas, you're able to execute it, right? There's been so many times about just like, you'll see drawings where it's like, oh, I tried, It's like, I drew someone holding an umbrella, here it is, but it's like, is that really how someone holds an umbrella? When it's cold outside, it's probably gonna be a little more closer, and like, he's gonna hold it a certain way, if it's windy, it's like, it says so much about the temperature and like everything around that. And so it's like, you're trying to capture that feeling, and so like, if you can't get it with that, you're trying to find the best way to sell that mood. And
I can't tell you how many times
to work it, it's like an animator, right?
Right.
You're an animator, and like, it's like you're trying to find that pose that sells so much, right? And I think it's like you don't want to let draftsmanship get in the way of selling those ideas. And so I'm trying to tell everyone, like, I struggle with that too. And so, but I keep trying to work at it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'll believe it.
What do you think?
No, Chris, everything comes easy to you.
No, it's not. It's not. I struggle really, really like every day, and I really do work at it, trying to make it look effortless. But you don't see all the other drawings that I spent, trying to get to look that way.
Yeah.
But I really do struggle. Everything I find is hard. To be honest. I'm being serious.
Shit, man, me too. Okay, do you guys ever, really quick, Jess, do you guys ever like have an assignment and you're like, I can't draw hands? Like I don't. Why can't I draw hands? Like I'll draw. I'm just kind of like, I can't draw this hand. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Hands
are. Oh, sorry, Bobby.
Sorry. Go ahead. Yes.
No, hands are hard, very hard. But like Chris said, like if you're drawing a character who is like, taking their glasses off or something, like you don't grab your glasses like this, like the subtle way you do it. And it's the same thing if an actor on screen was to be like, I'm taking my glasses off. Like, that's weird. Now you're taking me like out of the fact that you're like a real human being.
Exactly.
So we have to find those intricacies and like little like kind of character ticks and things in our characters to, like, people always ask like, oh, how do you add life? Like, how do you do this and that? That's how you do it, is we're pulling from life, and we know how someone does something, and we've observed it, we've lived it, and then you communicate it.
Yeah.
Hopefully. It's hard. It's like, it's super hard, but.
Yeah. I remember asking you about like what you wanted to achieve from your sketches in your sketchbook, and you just told me that you wanted to capture the essence of a person, whether you like them or not. Yeah.
Like, so a huge part of me learning and coming into like at the world of animation was like drawing from people. Like that's where I pulled all my inspiration from. I'm kind of like a creeper. Like I love watching people. So like I spent so many hours like in cafes when I was in New York, and I'm on the subway. I'm drawing people in the park, everywhere. I don't do it as much now, but like but yeah, it's like you've observed these people. You know why like as humans, like we see someone and we feel like, oh, this person looks sketchy, like watch out for them. It's because they have their hands in their pockets and they're like looking around, and like the way that they wear like their clothes or their facial hair, like there's things that we pick up on as humans. Like there's certain cues, and like understand that and know that. And like for me, like that's how you can do like characters that are believable. Like even if it's an alien that we've never seen before, if that alien has a posture, has certain proportions, if it's like a big beefy thing, then we're like, oh, this alien can throw, like he can scrap, you know, like he can really fight. If it's this little, you know, like flimsy thing that's like kind of got his head down, like, oh, okay, it's kind of awkward and this and that, but like that's how you bring life like into people, into characters.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Alexis, I don't have all the answers.
No, yeah, I mean, like, no, that was perfect. Alexis, what do you think helps you try to improve in your character design, you know, work?
I definitely need to draw more after work to improve, but I feel like I want to get better at like doing the feature stuff that I used to like to do. Yeah. Like I haven't been in TV that long, but I feel like I've been in TV so long. I'm just like, I want to change it up. I'm bored. But yeah, I just need to like do more art. I just need to like just change it up. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, I mean, like, I think, what do you think it is of just kind of going out and doing more cafe sketches, or is it more just kind of like going into the feature realm?
I feel like I need to do more cafe sketches. I definitely need to do more like of the rough. I just need to have more ideas. I just feel like I haven't had that many like. Yeah. I haven't had the motivation to do it. I don't have any.
It's a weird time.
Yeah, I just feel like
it's a weird fucking time.
Yeah, and then even before then, I just haven't felt like I don't post art anymore, as you can see. Like I just want a break. Maybe that's what it is. I just need a break before I get back into it, because like I worked so hard to get to like this first job, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm here. Okay, I can stop. But like I just need a break, honestly. But I feel like listening to like all your like tips and stuff, like honestly reinvigorated like my need to want to like do more like featurey art stuff.
How do you guys Alexis, like that break thing I think is super important. Like I need a break too, actually. How do you guys deal with that? Jesse, Chris, Maria, how do you
I'm struggling with that. Yeah, I'm struggling with that too. Like I do books after work too. Like children's books, and like I'm feeling like that, you know, yeah, where it's like I know, like, yeah, I can't, I don't know how long that's gonna last for, you know, it's like I need those breaks, and so that's hard. Yeah, that's hard. I don't know. Having like a life outside of work, it's hard too, because like my hobby is drawing, you know. Yeah. And so it's just I need to find a new hobby. I think that's what I need to work on. When you ask that question, I need a new hobby. Something I can do, like, you know, other than drawing. Yeah.
Me too. I don't know how you guys, Maria or Jesse, I need a break too. I mean, like I'm so burnt out. I need another hobby beyond animation or something like that. But I don't know how to find it. You know, especially since we're in quarantine.
What about weightlifting?
What?
What about weightlifting, Bobby?
I
you look great.
I mean, like I don't have any other like hobbies, you know, beyond making Rise Up work and then Disney stuff work. So it's tough, man. Like, I don't know. How do you guys find that?
Someone just asked what your routine is.
Yeah. I want
I want the Bobby routine.
How do you guys find the
very secretive about it?
Jess, how do you find the work life balance routine?
Oh man, I mean today, you know, like during COVID times, that's a different beast.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, like I want to always kind of feel like creatively fulfilled. So like if my job is not like, sometimes the job really does provide that, but then like these guys were saying, like sometimes in the heat of a production, it's more just like you're just kind of getting it done, and then like I need something then to kind of like wet my whistle, something like if it's a personal project, even if it's just sketching, watching TV, just something where I'm like, I did something today that I like, that I think is creative. But then away from just drawing, I mean, yeah, hobbies are great. Like I think concentrating on exercise, like no one said this yet. I kind of saw in the chat, someone mentioned this, but like keeping your body in good shape. Like now that I'm in my mid 30s, like I have a lot of aches and pains, and do yoga, stretch, get up from your desk, like don't get burned out. Like I know people that can work like 8 hours straight, but that's not me. Like I need to get up and take intermittent breaks and stretch, do some push-ups, not as much as Bobby, but do some squats. So yeah, honestly, like that is a huge thing. Like, and I know for students, like it's hard because you feel like you just have to push through and like work. But if you burn yourself out, like you're gonna be useless, and you might be working, but you're working like you're not working smart. So take 20 minutes, take a walk, like watch a show or something, and then get back to it. Like your brain is a muscle. You just can't constantly like go.
Yeah.
I feel like CalArts messed up my work-life balance. So then like after it was over, I was just like, I'm not touching any art after work. Bye.
I was gonna say, Alexis, how are you doing in the quarantine? How are you like working out?
I don't mind it. My office, well, it wasn't my shared office space at Warner Brothers was a box with no window. Unfortunately, I wasn't at the ranch. So I was like, you know what? I don't mind this work at home thing. I got a window. But dividing it up hasn't been so bad. Like there's just a whole bunch of projects that I want to do. So I kind of get distracted with that. Yeah. But like, I've just kind of like been on a break from art, like this weird rebellious thing. Like, I don't want to do anything animation related. Bye. Right. So it's kind of like, I was kind of like, why am I on this panel? Because I've posted.
Yeah.
Because like even answering some of those questions, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it out. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm still just kind of like tired, man.
Yeah.
I think it's very valuable to hear from you to feel that way, because I actually did go through something very similar too. So like, like students like thinks that, oh, it's gonna be a bunch of rainbows and unicorns once they get their first job, and then that it definitely hits almost every artist I know. It definitely hit them pretty hard. Like you achieve something, and then like, oh wow, but you kind of feel empty inside, and then like you're trying to find this, like trying to fill something in, so you start to doing other things or not doing art related at all. Like so. I think it's actually quite valuable that students do hear that side of the life too, because we all kind of go through it.
That's huge, Maria. Like you're so right. Like you said, you're concentrating on like, my goal is to get a job. Then you get a job, and you're still young and you still have so much ahead of you. Like it doesn't make everything magically better. It doesn't change your life as much as you might think. And then it's like, okay, well, what next? And so like, that's why like this, I'm going to get cheesy for a second, but I think it was Walt Stanchfield that had a quote that was like, are you in love with the art in yourself or yourself in the arts? And I think, like if all you want is a studio gig or whatever, and you get that, then you can like die. You can die happy, right? But that's not the case. Like, if you're a creative person and you want more, that will keep you going, Don't take my okay die quote out of context, please. But you know what I'm saying, right? Like, yay, I achieved it. Like, okay, now what? Like, it never ends. Like, and you have to get used to that pace of like, okay, like for me, it was like get a studio gig or whatever, get a character design gig, work in development, you know, work in production, like, and like I'm very fortunate to have been able to like take off a lot of things on that I wanted to do, like, and that's amazing. But like I think what keeps me going is like wanting to do more, you know. Like Bobby was saying, like now, like, you know, I've tried to do, I developed a series, you know, like I write from time to time, like I have other passions that I want to achieve as well, not just drawing, you know.
Yeah.
Want to get beefy.
Yeah, I mean, I want to be respectful of your time. It's like 1:20, but you know, we started at 11, so thank you guys so much for coming on this panel. It's great catching up with you. It's great to see you. You know, I miss seeing you guys in person. But you know, beyond that, you know, if there's anything that we're kind of gonna sign out now. But if there's anything you want to say to the crew, or if you guys want to cheers to our coffee, that's fine too.
It's been going for an hour now.
Maria, Jesse, Alexis, Chris, Sasaki. Holy moly! Yeah.
Thanks for helping with this Rise Up animation, Bobby. This is really great.
Yeah, thank you.
You guys are incredible. I mean, like, I went on all your sites and I'm just like, I'm not a character designer. These guys are character designers.
No, don't say that. Don't say that.
Yes, you are, Bobby.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I don't
yes,
have
you
a but yeah, thank you guys so much for like coming along and sharing your experiences and being open to all the questions. And you know, let's how do you guys feel? Maria, Alexis, Jesse, anything you want to yell out like beyond everything else? Anything you want to like,
go ahead.
Viva Venezuela! No one's.
I see a lot of like Q&A questions. I don't know if some people had some stuff to say to like me or whatever. You can message me on Instagram. I'll take forever to reply, but I will try to answer your questions.
There's so many Q&A questions. There's like 71 questions. But yeah, I mean, like it's up to you guys. How's your guys' time looking?
Okay.
What do you mean?
Oh, do you guys gotta go? Probably, right? You guys probably gotta go.
Got nothing to do.
Yeah.
I want to lay on my bed because it's getting real hot in here.
Yeah. Awesome. Sorry, guys. But we see your Q&A questions, but hopefully we can answer them.
Bobby, if you can, you know, copy and paste and send it out as an email, then you know, then I can just like take my time and then try to respond as many as I can.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know if I can do all 71, but if anything that was directly like to me, then at least I will make sure that was answered. Yeah.
Yeah, I can do the same.
71. Not
70 fucking one. I can't.
71. Yeah.
So many.
That's awesome. Really quickly before we end, can I ask you guys around the table what your electric chair food would be? Your last food on Earth that you would have. Let's go. Does that question?
Let's go with Maria first.
Sorry. Yeah. So Maria,
Chris.
So, you know, when there's an electric chair, I mean, like you can. Yeah. They would ask whatever you want. They'll provide it. So let's say that there's no limitations to resources. So what would be the last meal that you would have on Earth? Maria, go.
Oh, it's pretty clear for me. It's a kimchi fried rice. It's always been kimchi fried rice.
Wow.
All right, Alexis. Alexis, what up?
Dang.
Sorry, hold on. My dad was.
Jesse. Okay. Alexis. Yep.
Sorry. Okay. I think I'd like to have an oyster po' boy.
Ooh.
With no mayo. I like fried oysters. They're amazing. And I wanted to have something cultural, so I'm like, okay. My last food on Earth will be from my family.
Oh
or gumbo or something.
I love it. I love it, Alexis. Jess.
Oh, Chris, do you know? Because I'm still trying.
Might be like manapuas. We have that in Hawaii, where it's like pork buns. You know, they're like bigger versions of pork buns. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Chris, what is it specifically?
Like manapuas. You know, they're like kind of like you've had like steamed buns before.
I don't know.
Chinese. It's like Chinese dish, like pork. Like like cows.
So like.
But in Hawaii, they're like bigger.
Chinese
like,
pork buns.
Yeah.
Hawaiian
like
Chinese
bigger.
pork
Big boy
yeah.
buns.
Yeah, they're bigger. Yeah.
Oh,
and sweet,
that
a little
would
bit
be
sweeter,
your
I'd say. Yeah.
Nice.
I think that'd be my last. Yeah.
Nice.
I'd probably eat a few of them as a meal. Yeah.
When's the last time you had them?
Last time I was in Hawaii, probably, I don't know, a couple years ago. Yeah, I have like my grandparents and my family are over there.
Yeah. Oh my God, can you imagine? I never had them before. Jess, what do you think?
This is incredible. I don't know. This is an incredibly hard question, Bobby.
God damn you!
Oh my God!
Hey,
come on,
I don't know.
Jesse.
Because I've done this question, but more as like, what could you only survive on? I've never thought about like, oh man, like, this is your last meal.
Yeah, the last meal on Earth.
Jesse, look at all these great restaurants near you.
I know. I mean, I might go the Maria route. I'm gonna say like an amazing Korean barbecue feast.
There we go.
Just like a ton of meat, a ton of drink.
All you can eat.
All you can eat. Yeah. And just go crazy. Yeah. Because I don't have to worry about the repercussions of it because I mean. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. For the record, mine would be the perfect pizza in the world. People have heard this before, but like every ingredient would be the finest cheese, pepperoni, sausage, dough. It would be like, a sausage from a pig that looked like Brad Pitt, or cheese that looked like, like a cow that looked like, Julia Roberts or whatever. I don't know. Anyway.
Be like Chicago pizza or like thin crust?
It would be like the perfect, yeah, exactly. The perfect pizza.
Thin crust, right?
Going down.
Thin crust?
No. Like pan crust, I think.
Pan crust?
Doing this.
Like a deep dish.
Deep dish.
Deep dish. Yep. I have to keep doing this. Yeah, deep dish. Yeah. That'd be good. Yeah.
Because it's okay.
Man, yeah.
What else is on it?
Oh, garlic, onions, sausage, pepperoni, and then Jesse Aclin flakes.
Hey, Jesse, what was yours?
I don't know what that means.
Green
I don't know
barbecue.
what that means.
Did you say what it was?
Green barbecue.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I got distracted. I don't know.
Would you eat the whole pie, Bobby, or just a slice?
All of it, man.
Leave him alone.
Eat the whole thing. You're about to die anyway.
You're about to die.
Just a slice.
Just a slice. Just one.
Prepared this.
A sliver.
I mean, guys, wouldn't it be funny if like you're in the electric chair and you're like, oh, I can request all of this, and then I'd sort of like bend to your request. Isn't that funny? Isn't that weird? Like a thing of like, yes, you can do that. Yep. Jesse Aclin. Yeah, you want a beer from Michigan or whatever, Brooklyn. Whatever. Yeah. Wouldn't that be funny? Anyway.
It's a tough question. Thank you. Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah, I'll have a better answer for you tomorrow.
Pizza, and then Jess, you are what was your thing?
A BBQ.
BBQ. Maria.
All you can eat.
It's a kimchi fried rice for me.
Oh, nice. And then Alexis.
I'm not.
Oyster po' boy.
Ooh. And then Chris's was. Yeah. Awesome.
You're going meat-free on your last meal, Maria?
What? My AirPod was disconnected. Did you say
You're not no meat on your last meal?
No, kimchi fried rice that has like either spam or bacon in it. That's my understanding of kimchi fried rice. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse you.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you everybody. Alexis, Chris, Jesse, for the conversation, and we'll post it like shortly on YouTube. But thank you guys so much, and this is fun. Let's do it again, man. Come on.
Thanks to everyone that tuned in, especially the ones that's like 3 a.m. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You guys had like at the peak like 500 people here, so
a lot.
You should feel bad, Jesse.
You
should feel bad for having people who wake up.
I hope it was worth it. Go to sleep. Go to bed.
Yeah. Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye. Nice meeting you guys. Bye.
Yeah.
Nice meeting